Hey everyone, so this happened. Like I say, it's only been a few days now since legalization come into full effect. And we're seeing the Trudeau Liberals and their mindless enforcers out there in full effect now, clamping down on something that's now legal. Like I say, we live in an Orwellian world at this stage, at this junction, folks. But hey, on the opposite side of the political aisle, the so-called cons, the conservatives, well, hey, they're ready and busy shooting themselves in the foot too. And it didn't take long for them to do so either. Headline out of CTV News: Scheer won't commit to keeping cannabis legal if Tories form government. It's being reported by Rachel Gilmore, Power Play producer. Thursday, October 18th, 2018. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer isn't promising to keep cannabis legal if his party wins the 2019 election. Instead, he said they'll scrutinize the rollout of legal pot and go from there. The Conservative Party will do our due diligence, examine the consequence of this decision, and will examine the reality on the ground, he told Don Martin on CTV Power Play Thursday. We have to be realistic about what a change like this means for society and all the ramifications. Hey, news alert, Scheer. Canadians that enjoy cannabis, pot, weed, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, the overwhelming majority of them, I know you probably don't realize this, but I'm going to let you in on a big secret. They already consume it, and they already have been for a long time. Shocker? Well, I don't think so. Maybe for you, but not for most Canadians. Scheer has been critical of the rollout of legal cannabis. He said yesterday that the government rushed legalization in order to meet an artificial political deadline. Well, he's kind of right in that aspect. Of course, the Liberals used this whole legalization file as a pretense to lure especially young millennials and even, I guess, some Canadians that were foolish or naive enough to think that, yeah, giving government the pretense of taking over an entire industry, that was somehow going to work out good for you. It's like, well, maybe the millennials, I can give a lot of them a little bit of a pass because they don't realize just how bad that works out. They don't have that history front and center, in regard to alcohol or cigarettes. I guess they haven't grown up long enough under central planning authoritarians and control freaks like the establishment parties in this country to realize that, no, it's never been about giving you freedoms. It's always about control and filling up the government coffers to benefit these political parasites and their crony counterparts. He also pointed to concerns among health experts about the minimum age for consumption and uncertainty around roadside testing for cannabis-related impairment. The Conservatives almost universally either abstained from voting or voted against the cannabis legalization bill, Bill C-45. At third reading in the House, just one Tory MP supported the bill, Ontario MP Scott Reid. The Conservative leader was among those who voted against legalization, despite having admitted to smoking cannabis when he was young. What a hypocrite, right? I mean, if he had been caught, he would have been criminalized. But he don't mind continuing to criminalize people for something that he even did and admitted he did himself. Like I say, what a hypocrite. He made the admission in an interview with Radio Canada's Tout le monde en parle. Scheer isn't the only Tory keeping mum about the future of Canadian cannabis under a Conservative government. Conservative health critic Marilyn Gladue wouldn't say whether the Tories plan to put the toothpaste back in the tube when it comes to pot legalization. When asked whether pot legalization was already at the point of no return, she wouldn't provide a firm answer, instead focused on public well-being. The Conservative government will take an action plan to protect public safety, she told Don Martin on CTV Power Play Wednesday. So once again, you have no choice out there, folks, right? And I mean, yeah, that other option, NDP, no. Canadians aren't foolish enough to go NDP. Leave those folks way at the back of the bus. Hey, let them say what they got to say. But once again, these socialists, well, if you give them any pretense of power or authority, yeah, you might get some legalization, but it'll be all you people that don't smoke pot will be forced to pony up and pay for some socialized form of marijuana consumption, right? So what they'll make it so that, hey, you don't even have to go pay for it. Don't worry, we'll give it to you for free. Free weed from the government. So you don't want nothing to do with that. So really, what are we saying here? The Liberals, well, we see what that really means under legalization. Just, once again, a blatant attempt to take over an entire industry and to micromanage, regulate, and criminally punish and penalize people that don't follow that very narrow band of allowances in regards to the legalization file. So once again, folks, you're seeing out there that your political options are very, very much narrowing, and you know there's only one place that you've got to turn at this point. If you want this legalization to be implemented properly, and that's Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada. The Liberals, well, they've already shown it was all about trying to take over and dominate the industry and actually creating more legislation, more rules, regulations, and criminality now that it's supposedly legal. You know, there's a lot more areas and methods they can criminalize you and punish you now under legalization. So the Liberals didn't care about giving you your freedoms. They just wanted you to vote for them and hopefully be naive enough to believe that they actually care about giving you freedoms. But now that you're seeing that's not the case, and now that the proof is actually out there, oh, in case you're looking to focus or pivot elsewhere, well, Scheer and the Conservatives, as we're seeing, no, not so much. They don't care about your freedoms either. And NDP, well, the only freedom they'd give you is the freedom to join their big socialist collective. And hey, if you're a cannabis consumer, well, they might force non-cannabis consumers to pay for you. So you might have some pretense of getting some free weed so that you'll vote for them. But once again, there's no such thing as free, folks, in case you didn't realize that already. Somebody's going to be paying for it. And I guarantee that will come with lots of caveats too, because how are you going to force people to pay for other people's vice or crutch of choice or recreational drug of choice? Now, there's only one option. Well, two. But one of the options, unfortunately, isn't a viable option because most Canadians don't even know that there is such thing as a Libertarian Party of Canada. But there is, and that would actually be the best place for Canadians to put their faith and support in regards to politics. But once again, we got to be realistic. We got to be pragmatic. And that's not going to happen because they've never had enough of a voice or enough attention focused on them for Canadians to even know that they exist. Nope. Like I say, there's one option, one choice. And that's Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada. And you know what? As a founding member and someone who's still giving it serious thought that I might even become an MP and a member of this political party because, like I say, freedom matters so much to me that I might have to roll up my sleeves and dive right into it. But before I do, or even if I do, I'm still going to try to point out time and time and time again that if you care about freedoms, whether they're social or economic, it's the People's Party of Canada, under the leadership of Maxime Bernier, that is your best option. Actually, that's your only option in 2019. Go Max, go. Hashtag PPC 2019. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.